Hey babes, I'm Cynthia.
And I'm Beverly. Grab your favorite drink. Let's sip and chat.
Welcome to Tipsy and Truthful, the podcast.
Period. Hey babes, welcome back to another episode of Tipsy and Truthful, the podcast where two best friends sip and chat about life, relationships, parenthood, and everything in between. I am Beverly, one of the hosts.
And I am Cynthia.
Yes, you are. And Cynthia's enjoying my salad that I made. She's over here putting herself on mute so she can crunch on my cucumber salad. We are enjoying a lovely can of Culture Pop soda. Not sponsored, but we want to be. We're
not putting them on the hashtags. We're messing up on that.
Okay, we're messing up, but we're not doing that this episode.
Why not? You can sponsor us.
No, as in we're not messing up this episode.
Yep.
We haven't been doing that, but we're going to do it for this episode. So thanks for the reminder. So babe, how was your week?
My week was a weekend, but it wasn't a good. I was just very busy. But it's been a good week. I honestly, after keeping that not complaining in check, I feel like I have better weeks. They're not draining. I don't feel overwhelmed as much. Yeah, so I'm in a good place.
It's a mindset, girl.
Mm-hmm.
When you turn your mindset into, let's just focus on the things that are going good.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, like, you see rainbows when there's a storm. Like,
the amygdala.
It's nuts. The amygdala. We talked about this. I need to learn more about that because I was like, just like with, from what I've heard and like a quick search. Mm-hmm. But that's really interesting.
Yeah. So, and I've opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we didn't explain. Okay. Anybody who hasn't been here before, every day we like to talk about the highs of the week.
Every week.
Huh?
Every week.
Did I say every day?
Yes.
Pregnancy brain. Every week we like to talk about our opportunities and our highs of the week. So your high of the week is?
Keeping my complaining in check.
Period.
My opportunity, week 3 of none.
Wow.
I honestly am very proud of myself.
Period.
Yeah. I'm in a good place.
You're focusing on the positive, so it's hard to find something that you have, you know. I don't want to call it negative, but okay.
I feel good. I'm in a good mental place. I feel like the 60-day hard that's almost coming to a close has been, not gonna lie, maybe my opportunity could be, I've been so heavily focused on my mental and my spiritual, which is great. Because I feel like that's where I need a lot of work. Not that I don't need work everywhere else, but the physical has taken a little of a backseat. Yeah. So these 60 days has truly transformed me in the way that I see life and my behavior and the way that I apply that in everyday situations. My physical, I'm still catching up on. I go to the gym, but this week has been, for the last 3 weeks, because I've been so tired. It's been, I go maybe 2 times in the week instead of the 5. So I guess that could be my opportunity, continue to keep my consistency in that area. But I'm also not proud of myself because I am physically exhausted from all that I do every day, that I just sometimes don't have the energy. And telling myself that it's okay to take that break, I think is a victory too. Yeah. Because usually I would beat myself up and say I'm lazy and I'm this and you don't want to go to the gym and.
Well, once your mental and your spiritual is more like
in
calm, in line, everything else will follow.
For sure.
So I think that
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, you're doing great. Honestly.
I feel good.
My mental, on the other hand, this week is my opportunity. The amount of meltdowns that I've had.
Yeah.
I have been like on high alert, like.
Well, let's start with the good first before you start with the opportunity.
Well, I do. We're talking about mental, so my mental is my opportunity. Okay. I'm just, I get you. I had a lot of like
setbacks. Not
setbacks. High reactive moments this week, right? Which is something that I'm working on, my reactivity. The other day when I had to vent, and I'm like, Cynthia, you need to call me now.
I was at lunch.
Okay, I'll call you on my lunch. I love that you keep me accountable and you're basically repeated everything that we always talk about. And you're like reminding me like, okay, but remember, you can only control yourself. Mm-hmm. You're trying to control outside forces first, like control yourself, put yourself in a place where you can deal with these things that are coming at you differently. And the reminder, the accountability, you did all the right things. You were like, I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. But remember X, Y, and Z. So, I appreciate that. I think my opportunity is also related to my high. My high of the week is knowing that I have people that I can lean on when I'm like wobbling. So I spoke to you. I spoke to Shirley this week. I spoke to my mom. So yeah, why am I getting emotional? These
my eyes are a little watery.
Sheesh.
And why am I getting emotional? I'm supposed to be starting my cycle, so maybe that's why. I've been feeling some type of way. I'm like, why are my eyes watery?
So yeah, my highs and my opportunities are the same thing. My reactivity and knowing that in those moments, because I'm still human. Yeah. So this week, my highs and my opportunities are like very related.
Okay.
But yeah, we're recording this before Father's Day, but at the time of being released, it will be the week of Father's Day. So we wanted to take this opportunity to like celebrate the fathers that we know, the fathers, that are close to us. And yeah, talk a little bit about them.
I think it's important to celebrate. We're always talking about, not that I want to just take time to celebrate men that are not celebrated as often.
Yes.
I feel like, especially in our generation, in our community, there's a big, I hate men's club or like just not valuing the changes and the sacrifices that they are making.
Right.
And we need to applaud that. We need to recognize that. And we need to motivate them.
The value and the role that they play in our lives and in our kids' lives.
Yeah. And in society.
Right.
In general, because it's important to have strong father figures, not only for the kids for your children, but other kids that may not have that.
Yeah.
And when you're strong as a father with your kids, you're able to provide that outside of your children, like your nieces, your nephews, your friends' kids. You just don't know who's looking up to you.
Right.
So it's very important to walk the right way.
Right.
So it's very important.
You had mentioned something that happened like when you went to pick up Cairo at school one day, and his teacher.
Oh yeah, I never talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went to go get Cairo. This was like over like a month ago. I went to go pick up Cairo after school, and his teacher. We're always chit-chatting. We're always trying to chit-chat and just like, talk about how the kids are doing, how life is. She understands where I work. I understand her, of course, because I'm in the same line of work. So I appreciate, especially like good teachers, I really want to recognize their hard work because it's not easy, right? But she was telling me, actually, in one of Cairo's report card nights, that something that she loves, like when she sees my husband and two other dads that usually chit-chat and play with the kids outside, that she knows that the kids are well taken care of at home. The fact that they're able to provide that to the other kids that just get dropped off because their parents unfortunately can't wait with wait for the bell to ring. And like parents, I can't do that. Most of the time, unfortunately, I'm dropping off Cairo right as the bell is ringing, and I can't stay with him because I'm rushing into work. But when my husband does it, he stays. And he waits for the teacher to come out, says good morning to the teacher. Him and the other dads talk and chit chat, and they play it with the other kids. And she said that is such a beautiful thing to see, and that it needs to be celebrated because she doesn't see that often. And the fact that they're three great examples, and that they can see the kind of kids that they have, it says a lot about how their fatherhood affects them positively, and they have an effect on the other kids that are around them because they're able to share that.
So cute.
Yeah. And I was very proud. I was like, yeah. Thanks.
So I think we should start by talking about our dads.
Okay.
I like this sentence, like the best thing about my dad is. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay.
I have to collect my thoughts.
Okay. The best thing about my dad. The best thing about my dad is that he really taught me what it's like to be loved, like to be shown affection. My mom was, I'm not saying that she's not affectionate, but my dad definitely had a bigger role of that in my life. He was really playful. He brought the playful nature to our house for sure.
It's so funny that's yours because that was mine.
Yeah, he was playing pranks on us. Like, he brought the laughter for sure.
Mm-hmm.
In times where things were hard, we didn't feel like things were hard because my dad, like, always lightened up the mood. You know, he still to this age, if I go visit him, he'll sit on the couch and hold my hand. And like, he's the biggest hugs, kisses, teddy bear, like, ever. Like, regardless of all the other things, I can always say that, like, no, my dad loves me. He shows me that he loves me. He calls me all these little baby names still. So I think that's the best thing about my dad.
Okay. It's funny because that's mine. I remember growing up that's something that my dad was always making jokes, always like playing around. And so that's where I think my playful, sarcasm, my personality from when it comes to that. My dad was very like just always making jokes about situations. But I also want to say that my dad, I think I learned hard work from my dad. My dad was very hardworking, and it doesn't matter. It didn't matter the time outside. It didn't matter the time of day. He taught me hard work. He's very like responsible when it came to those things, like being on time and like keeping his word when it came to like, if I'm going to work, even if I'm sick, I'm going to work, And so I get that from him. So.
Wow. I was going to say, she doesn't say hard work.
Oh no, my dad is an extremely hard worker.
He's like the epitome of like, no.
Very hard worker.
Yeah. And like,
very laborious
dependable.
too.
Is it dependable that I'm looking for? Accountable? I don't know.
One of the two.
One of those two words. So yeah, what we did is we got some of the dads that we know. I don't want to say like some of the good dads that we know, but like some of the dads that we think are like really good examples that are close to us. And we asked them basically like, so think of your kids, because most of these kids are all like pretty young. I think the oldest kids in this group are my girls.
Maybe, yeah.
Think of your kids 20 years down the road. 15, 20 years down the road.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, it will happen.
I know it will.
And they're all sitting around a table talking about their childhood. If you could have it your way, and they would say, no matter what, my dad, blank, blank, blank. And we asked the same question to all these dads. And here are some of the responses that we got. Who do I want to start with? I'm going to start with my cousin, Landry. His is long, and I love his response. So another thing I want to add, a lot of these dads took a while to like come up with an answer.
It makes me happy because they're not taking this lightly.
I love that they really put that, like, wait, I never thought of that.
Nobody asked me that.
But now, like this is my it's like we're asking them, like, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to leave behind? Once you're gone, you want your kids to say this about you. And my cousin Landry took a few days. And I love his response. Ready? I'm reading it verbatim. No matter what, my dad put 110% effort into making our lives better. Not just with materialistic things, but for better opportunities and a better future. My dad may not have always been there for school activities or sports because he was working towards a better future for us to have generational wealth. But he still made as much time as possible for us. My dad was my best friend. I trusted him, and I appreciate the advice he gave me so I could be a better man in the future.
Wow.
Period.
Why am I going to tear up?
I already said, as I was reading these responses, I was like, I'm going to cry this whole episode. It's all, I guess for some of these men, I didn't know that they had these feelings, these words in them. So it makes me like emotional. Like, wow, that's beautiful. And thank you for sharing that. So Landry, thank you for sharing that.
And I'm proud of you that you're thinking more than. I think a lot of people get stuck on
today.
And not only today, but I need to make sure that my kids have a house and they have this and that. And they don't think about the value of like what a good present father, like what that effect has on children, and I appreciate that. Not only did he talk about, of course, their security, because we all want security for our children,
of course,
but also emotional well-being for them in the long run. So,
and we asked the kids too. We didn't tell the dads what the kids said, but we asked the kids to tell us what the best thing about their dad is. And this is my nephew, LJ. How old is he? 7?
8.
He's 8?
Yes.
His birthday, he just turned 8. I thought it was 7.
It's 8. Kyle was turning 7.
Oh my God, these kids are growing too fast. So my nephew LJ is 8 whole years old, and this is his response.
Hey LJ, what do you love the most about your dad?
I love him. And I love everything he does for me. That he takes care of me and my little brother.
So cute.
Yeah.
He was like waiting. Like, I know there's more, but he couldn't come up with the words.
Yeah.
So adorable.
Sometimes it's hard for kids to put into words what their dads make them feel.
Yeah.
And we need to take that into consideration too.
Okay. So adorable. The next person that we asked was my brother-in-law, Tony. And I loved all these responses, honestly. So Tony said, no matter what, my dad was always present. This is literally what you just said. He understood the value of a hard day's work, but also knew how to separate work and family time. He was quick to forgive and offer that same grace to others. He dreamed big dreams for me. Even when I didn't believe in myself, he did. And then he said at the end, when I said, wow, that was a good response, he wrote, and I'm adding this too, I just try to mirror my dad. He showed me the blueprint. That's when I lost it. I was like, wow. This shows you, this is a grown man. And it shows you the effect that a father will have on a son, especially on a son. Mm-hmm. He's saying, I'm just trying to be like my dad. I'm just trying to be as great of a dad as my dad was. Like, that's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I'm already like all teary-eyed. And my nephew, Anthony, how old is Anthony? 4?
I thought he was 5 already.
I'm
425. He just turned 5. Okay. We went to the birthday party.
Yeah, I don't remember any. I don't remember what I did yesterday. So,
to the water park.
I know I remember the birthday. I don't remember the age.
Okay.
That's okay. So this is my nephew Anthony. He's 5 years old, and this is his response.
I love my dad because he plays fun things. He does fun things with me. Like sometimes he gives me piggybacks.
It's so cute. No puedo. These little voices, that's what gets me.
I know. It's the innocence and the pureness.
Ugh. I have them all here. I don't know.
No,
keep
going.
Keep going. Okay. We asked Daury. So Daury is my cousin's partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that a lot of dads gave similar response, like short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope I'm not offending anyone here. The dads that said this, also I noticed that they had dads that were absent or not as present maybe in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So his response was, no matter what, my dad was there for me. And again, I think I had that same exact response for like 3 or 4 different dads. It shows the importance of like their dad being there, like the dad being there. And I got 2 responses for his kids. My niece, Neville, she is 12. And my nephew, Nolan, he's 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bad with ages. I'm
5.
sorry, guys. 5?
He's going to be 6.
Okay.
Because Kyle's going to be 7.
Okay.
And they're like right there.
For me, everybody's still babies and I don't know nothing. So this is what Neville said.
The best thing about my dad is that he always tries to make us laugh and he always tries his best to make us happy.
How cute is that? And that's what you guys see. These kids, they see your effort.
It's not in vain.
They don't all I feel like sometimes the kids around us may struggle with like saying, hey, I appreciate X, Y, and Z. Because they're little,
mm-hmm.
But they see it and they feel it.
And I think when you ask them the question explicitly, is that when they're able to come up with this? They're like, wait, this is important to me.
Yes. And this is what Nolan said. And she said this is all he knew how to say.
My dad is the best dad ever.
Oh, hey.
So cute.
It just sums it up what his dad means to him.
Sums it up. My dad's the best, period. Yeah. Okay, so let me see who else I have here. All right. So I asked, we have Joanny is one of Jonas's teachers in school.
One of our number one fans.
She's a big supporter of Tipsy and Truthful. And we've become friends, like outside of her being Jonas's teacher. And her husband responded, no matter what, it would simply be that I was there for them whenever they needed me and that I loved them.
So he was always available.
Basically.
Which is
and
so
from what I
huge.
hear from her, that's he really focuses on that. They have 3 children and they are older. I think they have a high school graduate, maybe 19, their oldest. They have a superstar basketball player who's like 17 and a little girl who is maybe 9, 10-ish. So this is from one of their children.
The best thing about Dad is that he's so sweet and he tickles me and makes me laugh.
The best thing about my dad is that he's always there for me no matter what.
That's from the 2 girls. And then this is from their son.
Best thing about my dad is that he puts me first.
Period. And then she said that he puts his mom first, but that's why he feels like they're being put first. Like,
they definitely listen to our podcast.
Period. So
She's influenced their thinking with our words.
So sweet. Who else do I have here? Medrano, yeah. So our friend, his name's Michael. We
just call him by his last name.
We met him a million years ago, and we always called him by his last name. Yeah. I don't know why. I think it's because Jhon calls him that. He's John's friend. We met him through Jhon, and So he said, no matter what, my dad let me know how proud he was of me. I'm really proud of them, and I let them know every day. So cute. And then these are the responses from the kids.
The best thing about Bobby is how he's so funny and caring, and he cares about all of us.
Oh, that's
why
nice.
I love him.
Oh, that's nice.
So cute. And then they have a son too. And this is what the son said.
Michael, wait, what is the best thing about your dad? What is the best thing that you think?
Because he makes dinner.
Oh, he make dinner? Oh, that's nice. What else?
And he always pick me up whenever I can pick up.
Oh.
He always picks me up. It's so cute. It's so cute. It's these little things that you don't know are making a big impact on these kids.
Yeah.
So adorable. Who else do we have?
Maybe we can talk about Primo, Patrick, and Jerry since their kids are so little that we didn't get a response. Well, Primo has a 8-year-old, but we couldn't get her response because they're very busy. So unfortunately, we couldn't get the response. But if I know her well enough, I know that her dad, what she would say about her dad. Okay. You want to first, and it's funny because their responses are very similar. So you can read their responses and then I know what Mariali's would say. Yeah. I know her well enough to know what she would say about her dad.
So Primo, he is my compadre. So he's Jace's godfather. He is Cynthia's cousin. And he's basically family to all of us. Yeah. And he responded in Spanish. He says, he said, mi papá siempre estuvo ahí cuando lo necesitaba. Which means no matter what, my dad was always there when I needed him most. And so what do you think Mariali would say?
Oh, Mariali's would say, my dad is always there, like he says, but my dad also supports the dreams that I have. Wow. She is very big into music just like he is. And she tells him every day that she wants to be a superstar. And he tells her, you're going to be a superstar. You know, he encourages her. And I know that's something that she holds dearly. Because she says, my dad said I'm going to do this. My dad, you know, she is very aware that she has her dad's support in whatever her dreams may be.
Can I just say, I'm knowing him before he had kids, before he was even in a relationship. Yeah. And the man that he is today.
As a father.
Can I just say how proud I am of him? Oh, super. Seeing how involved he is in every aspect of his kid's life. In every aspect. He's super involved, always.
For sure.
Who else do we have? Patrick. So Patrick is kind of a newer dad. He has, how old is she, 2?
Yes. I think she's 2.
Olivia's 2. So he has a 2-year-old. She probably could have said something, but she's really little. So he said, no matter what, my dad was always by my side. So again, similar responses of like, my dad was there for me. And we didn't get the baby's response. And we also have Jerry. So Jerry's my brother-in-law. He has twins that are babies too.
They just turned 2.
They're the same age as Jonas. Yeah, a couple months away from Jonas. And they just turned 2. He said his response in Spanish too. No matter what, mi papá siempre estuvo ahí para nosotros. Same thing. My dad was always there for us.
Yep.
Who else did we have? I think we had one more response that was similar.
No, that was it. Primo, Patrick, and Jerry.
So we have also Kenny. I don't know if you guys remember Kenny. He was a guest in episode 17, 18?
Well, we had the 2 parts. So 17, 18, 18.
Oh, I think both. Okay, 17 and 18. He is pretty big on TikTok. He's the Keke guy from TikTok. Yeah. We asked him, and this is what he said. And his son also responded, which was so cute.
He said, no matter what, my dad always supported my dreams. Not having that support with my goofiness took a huge toll on me. I don't want my kids to go through that, which is huge.
And his son, let me see if I can find it. This is what his son said. So cute.
Kyle, what's the best thing about your dad?
My dad always sleep with me when I'm scared of the night.
You scared at night of like monsters and stuff?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
The cutest
The
laugh.
little laugh. I can't. So cute. These kids are adorable. All of them. And we asked somebody else that we're excited to talk about. So we've mentioned the podcast We Still Like Each Other here. How many times? A gazillion?
Since the first episode.
Yeah, we love them.
Yeah.
It's a couple, and they talk about like their relationship and their, their journey in parenthood and all of the above. So we asked, honestly, I didn't know if they were gonna respond. Like, they're pretty popping. But they did. And Travis wrote, no matter what. Oh, Travis is the husband in the podcast. And he said, no matter what, my dad worked hard to provide for us. Or, no matter what, my dad loved and respected my mom. He said, I think it's a tie for me between these two. Loving someone isn't enough in my in my opinion. It's how you show up for your family. We live in a capitalist world, so we need money. I have to get it to the best of my ability so that they have comfortable lives. I want them to see an image of a healthy marriage. I remember one time when we were driving with Eli. Eli's their son. He's maybe 8 or 9. And his cousin. We pulled up to a red light and I leaned in and kissed Steph, his wife. Eli said to his cousin, don't worry, they do that a lot. Those are the images of us that I want ingrained in his head. Period. And I cried when I read this response. I love that he and they, I don't think it's just him, both of them are intentional in putting their marriage first to create a healthy family. I think that they see the importance of that.
That's what their whole podcast is about.
That's literally what their whole podcast is about.
That's why it's called We Still Like Each Other.
They have an episode called Fuck Them Kids.
Yeah.
Which was controversial.
Yeah.
And it was meant to like say it in a funny way.
Yeah.
But
they talked about their marriage and how important it is to keep each other, to keep each other, to keep their relationship
in the forefront,
like as a priority,
right.
So that the rest of and we've had an episode on that, so that the rest of their life, and their kids can see the value of that, because there's value in having you and your spouse being on the same page, being happy, being fulfilled as individuals, but also as a couple spills over to everything you do, including your children. Yeah. And the fact that, they are very intentional about making sure that their kids know that is beautiful to me. And I know they're going to be together forever. Yeah. And their kids are going to have a beautiful example of what a healthy marriage is supposed to look like.
Yeah. Their marriage is goals to me.
And I appreciate their marriage.
Right? Not because it's picture perfect, not because they're two perfect people, because they they've even had like disagreements like on their podcast.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that they can work through them by having a conversation, the fact that they each know how each other deals with the conflicts. Like Steph says that she needs a little bit more. Is it her that needs more time or that he needs more time?
she
I don't remember.
If I'm not mistaken, she's the one that wants to kind of fix it and he needs time. If I'm not mistaken.
I think it's the opposite, but it doesn't matter.
I feel like I'm like Travis in a lot of ways. It's so funny because our personalities are similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you and Steph are
I'm definitely
too.
more Steph.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, their relationship is goals because they've gotten to know each other and they know how to communicate.
It's taken some work. And I think that's what I appreciate.
And they're honest about the work.
That's what I appreciate.
That's
that they've worked through, their tiffs even on camera.
Yeah.
They've worked it out on episodes, and it's just beautiful to see them still be annoyed at each other and still try to work it out.
Yeah.
So I, as a fellow fan, but also as a podcaster, I appreciate the vulnerability it takes to present those issues for the world to see and for them to work it out.
Yeah. And as a super fan, as a groupie over here, thank you for showing us that it's possible.
Oh, sure.
She's Dominican and he's Jamaican. And it's like people like us can have healthy relationships, can communicate. It's not a fairy tale. It's not fake. It's attainable for all of us. Like,
but it takes work. And that's what they show us.
And that's what they show us. Like we have weekly meetings. We do this, we do that. We talk.
We keep each other accountable.
Right. So
good job, guys.
So yeah, we love you guys. That was our 30-minute spiel on how we're groupies.
Yeah.
I think I didn't get a response from Steph for their son. If we get it, maybe we can add it in here somehow. But if not, they're really busy. They have a baby, just like I get it. The last two men that we have are our partners.
Yeah.
Do you want me to start? Or do you want you to start? You start?
No, you start.
Me start? Okay.
Yeah.
So I asked Jhon, first of all, the fact that Jhon was even able to come up with something, I'm proud of you, babe. He's not very expressive. Like, this is something that we like, I've told him and I hope that he works on, because this is not a project for me. Like, this is something that if he wants to do, he will do. And he took a minute and he gave me this response, and it was very fitting for him. No matter what, my dad was responsible. He was always there for us, and he worked his ass off to give us everything we needed. And these are all facts. I can clearly state that him being a responsible person, he says it like he needs to set that example. Like, that's really important to him. Like, that he keeps his word and that he's responsible and that he works hard. Those are his core values, and he's teaching them through his kids, not only by saying it, but by modeling it. Yeah. So I'm proud of him for that. And him being a provider is really important to him. I feel like he's another example of one of those people whose father wasn't physically there with him at all times.
Can I dare say emotionally?
I mean, he wasn't both ways. Wasn't there.
And I think that's why he really had to sit down to think about this, about what's important for the kids. But I think that's why he struggled with
the words.
Yeah. Constantly being able to express that, even though that's how he feels, being able to express that, because, he wasn't given the opportunity. And also, I don't think it was modeled for him. So it's hard.
Modeled. Yeah.
And the fact that he could even come up with that, I think is amazing.
Kudos to you, baby.
Yeah.
And I was going to say something else. Oh, the fact that his father wasn't always physically there. Like, they lived in different countries for a lot of his life. And he's proud of the fact that he's here with his kids. Like, he's really proud of the fact, no, I'm here. Like, I make time for them. Even if he comes home from work, he'll play with it, even if it's for 5 minutes. Like, it's something that he prioritizes, being physically present with them. Okay, so I asked the girls. I didn't ask Joni because he's a baby. I didn't ask Jace because he doesn't really express himself that well. So, this is what Liana had to say.
The best thing about my dad is he notices when I'm sad and he tries to cheer me up.
And then this is what Aliyah said. And we have to cut the beginning off, so.
The best thing about my dad is that he's funny and he got that drip.
He got that drip. Aaliyah and Jhon share this love for fashion. That's so adorable. Like the way that they're like both sneakerheads and they both talk about fashion and this and sweater and this. I love that they bond over that because I sure as hell don't. I'm not really into like the whole fashionista thing. I'm into comfort. So, yeah. Who's next?
My husband is last. He literally not struggled. He was like, every time I asked for it, he's like, I'm still thinking about it. And it took him a couple of days to give it to me. Finally, I was like, I need a response. Like, come on. So he like was like in some he was definitely in a mood when he wrote this. In a good mood. He was like, listening to songs and he had some alcohol in him. He was like very emotional when he wrote this. So this is what he said. And I'm going to read it in Spanish. My husband does not speak English, so I'm going to read it in Spanish. And then I've translated it to the best of my ability. Because I wanted to keep the essence of him,
right.
So he said, ¿Cómo quiero que Cairo siempre me recuerde? Para ser padre tiene que esforzarte. Lo más importante de todo para ser buen padre es siempre estar ahí. Yo con amor intento enseñarle a vivir la vida con la palabra y con el ejemplo. Estando ahí cada vez que él lo necesita. Enseñarle los valores importantes y poniendo límites. I'm getting emotional.
Me too.
Porque ser padre lo hace cualquiera, pero ser buen padre toma mucho esfuerzo y sacrificio. Por eso siempre estoy ahí, sea la cosa más mínima. Yo no soy perfecto y siempre me equivoco, porque soy un humano. Pero espero que Cairo nunca diga, papi, no lo intentó. Siempre le he enseñado que puede ser bueno en lo que quiera. Que siempre tenga la fe que es bueno en todo lo que se proponga hacer.
Hot messes right now.
Yeah, he took... I owe money, but that response to me, to know my husband's background and know that he comes from a broken home and that's something that I value in our marriage is what a father he is to our son and how lucky Cairo is to have him. It makes me so emotional, So let me read that in English because I said it in Spanish, but in English, he said, how I want Cairo to always remember me. To be a father, you have to work hard. The most important thing of all is to be a good father is to always be there. I, with a lot of love, try to teach him to live life by word and example. Being there every time he needs it. Teach him important values and setting limits. Because being a father can be done by anyone, but being a good father takes a lot of effort and sacrifice. That's why I'm always there for the smallest of things. I'm not perfect and I'm sometimes wrong because I'm human. But I hope Cairo never says Daddy never tried. I have always taught him that he can be good at whatever he wants. May he always have the faith that he is good in everything he sets out to do. Yep.
Hot mess.
I know.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. And so I have Cairo's response.
Wait, can I interrupt you real quick? I just have to say.
Yeah.
I really have to give my hats off to your husband. Like as a father, as an uncle to my kids even. He is so involved. I think the word that I would use is involved, number one, for him. I never go over that he's not outside playing ball with Cairo or that they're playing video games or the Nerf guns that I got for Christmas that you hate me for, shooting each other across the living room.
I hate those
She
stuff.
sends me videos like, thanks, babe. But I purposely got Cairo one and I know how they play together. And I got a second one for his dad so that they can, battle it out. I really, really, really have to give him his flowers, como se dice, because he really puts in forth the effort to like not just be there, but be a part of the playing, the learning, all
everything.
Of it. So
yeah, I'm telling you, Cairo is very lucky. And I think it's because he lacked that and he wanted that so much that he's like, there's people that do the complete opposite. They're like, not that he talks very highly about his father, but his father had to work so much to support all 6 of them that, he wasn't present for all the things that he wished he would have been. But he understood that his dad was also sacrificing.
Yeah.
And so for him, it's a balance of like, I need to work hard, but I also need to make sure that my son remembers me at these baseball game, that my son remembers me. Like, even if I don't understand his homework because it's in English, I'm there, like trying to figure it out with him. Like, you know, and I appreciate that because I know that Carol's going to never forget that, you know? And Carol's response is very funny. What do you love most about your dad?
What? This is very tough because he gives me a lot of things and I love him a lot. Like you.
Okay, but we're talking about your dad. So what do you love the most about your dad?
That a few years ago, he gave me a basketball hoop.
Okay.
And, he got me a PS5 to play on. And he got me shoes. and he got me love.
He got her. Oh.
He got you what?
Love.
Oh, he gives you love. What else?
Hugs and kisses. That's something I can think of. And I have one more thing. We play together. And we go on fun trips to it. Both of us. To go do stuff and we go have fun together sometimes. And yeah.
That's it? All right.
That's something I can think of.
He's so cute. It's a video, so you guys aren't seeing it, but he's nodding his head at the end like, yep. That's all I could think of.
Yeah. That's all you could think of.
But love.
Yeah.
I can't.
Because in my family, we're very touchy. Like, we're extremely touchy. Like, Carol's physical language is definitely touch. Because he's always like...
His love language is physical touch.
It's physical touch.
You said his physical language.
Oh, crap.
And I understood you.
I'm slurring here, and I'm not even drinking. Yeah, it's definitely physical touch. He loves to hug. He loves to kiss. He loves... Like, every 5 minutes, he's like, I need a hug. And he'll just come to the living room and give us a hug. You know, he wakes us up in the morning and gives us 3 kisses, 2 on each cheek and 1 in the forehead. It's just, we're very big on touchy-touchy. So I love that he recognizes that because I know that that's something that Yael wants to pass on to him. And I'm proud of him for being that kind of father.
So cute. So happy Father's Day. It's going to be a few days early when you hear this.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day to all of the dads. We want to congratulate you for being great fathers. We want to celebrate you. And I think Cynthia had a nugget.
I do have a nugget.
Okay.
I have a nugget of the day.
Okay.
So the nugget of the day is, it's more advice. You know, the nugget of the day is more advice on cultivating this kind of village. So it's important for men to try to become better for themselves so that it trickles down. Fatherhood is kind of tricky to figure out. And I feel like if you don't have people around you that are trying to do the same thing, you have to think that in our society, men are not celebrated in at all.
Enough.
I feel like there's more negativity for men than the positive things that they're doing. Yeah. And it's hard for them to find men that are trying to do the same thing. And it's important to encourage these men to find a village where you have one common goal. And it's to be better humans and fathers in general. And I feel like you need to surround yourself with men that are trying to do the same thing, because that's the only way you're going to get better. You're going to get better. And I think this shows us that kids are very aware of the behavior and the way that men are or that you're acting. And so at least for the men that we have in our list, a lot of these kids are very young. And so I know that they're amazing fathers, but there is still room for growth, right? And so because your kids are so young, I feel like take this opportunity to continuously self-evaluate yourself and fix the things that you need to continue fixing before, they start getting older, because you are doing a good job. You're doing an amazing job, but we can always do better. And So that's my advice. I feel like surround yourself with men that want to do the same thing, but also continuously work on yourself so that you're the best father you can be for your children. And those children that don't have fathers, that look up to you as a father figure.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're not a father and you're going to be a father, this is important too, because having that in the forefront of your mind before you become a father makes the ride easier, you know, into fatherhood. It's a tough job and we appreciate you. So that's my nugget.
Thank you for that nugget. I want to say, adding to your nugget, sometimes it's hard to surround yourself physically with the village. But that's okay, because in the age of social media, you can surround yourself by following and engaging with other men who are like similar to you, you know, who have the same goals as you or whatever. And you can at least feed yourself that via your social media, you know. Just add that little
sprinkle
to your nugget.
A nugget with some sprinkles, cool.
Yummy.
That sounds gross. That sounds like something you would eat because you're pregnant right now. Anyways, on that note, we want to wish you a happy Father's Day.
Yes.
To all the amazing fathers, stepfathers, uncles that have stepped up to be fathers.
Yes.
It doesn't matter in what capacity you play this role. It's an important role, and we appreciate you. And you are not, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not forgotten? You're acknowledged? I don't know. You know, we appreciate the work that you do because we know it's tough.
Yeah.
So on that note, thank you for not getting tipsy with us,
but still keeping it truthful.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Check us out on Instagram at Tipsy and Truthful Podcast.
And TikTok at Tipsy and Truthful. See you next week.
Love you, babes.